You ever move into your dream home and within hours have cops at your door because some HOA president called them on you? That was my welcome gift. A woman with a clipboard screaming, I had to sign her papers or else. But when she realized whose family she was threatening, her entire scheme unraveled. Act 1. The Spark. My name's Carter Hayes. I'm 35, an engineer married with a little girl named Luna. We just moved into a place by the lake, the kind of home you imagine raising kids in. Big porch, wide yard, a swing for Luna already waiting. And best of all, my grandfather, General Samuel Hawk Donovan, retired. Army had agreed to live with us. At 75, the man still carried himself like he was leading a battalion. We barely had the moving truck unloaded when she appeared. Vivian Sterling. Blonde bob, sharp blazer, clipboard glued to her side like it was a crown and scepter. She didn't bother with small talk. She marched straight up the porch steps, shoved papers into my chest and said, "Sign here. HOA membership is mandatory." I scanned the paper full of fees, regulations, and fines. My deed didn't say a word about an HOA, so I told her, calm but firm, not interested. My property records don't mention your association. That's when her smile cracked. Her eyes narrowed, lips curling like a snake. If you refuse, you'll regret it. We enforce compliance here. Before I could respond, a couple of neighbors suddenly wandered over too conveniently. An older woman, Mrs. Patterson, and a man named Rodriguez. Both started parroting the same script. I'd blocked the mailbox. I was threatening the community. All lies and loud enough for the street to hear. Vivian pulled out her phone. 911. Yes, I have a trespasser here acting hostile. I swear I thought I'd stepped into some bizarre play. Minutes later, squad cars rolled up. The officers looked around, no crimes, no threats, nothing. They glanced at Vivian's papers, shook their heads, and told us to have a nice day. She hissed as they left, throwing one last line over her shoulder. This is just the beginning. You'll learn to follow the rules. After she stormed off, my grandfather picked up one of the violation notices she'd dropped. His finger traced the fake notary stamp, the misspelled words. He didn't even look surprised. These aren't legal, he muttered. This isn't enforcement, it's fraud. And the way he said it, like he'd seen scams 1,000 times before, I knew this battle wasn't over. Act 2. Escalation and Doubt. The very next day, Vivian returned. This time she brought back up a tall guy with a tape measure and a badge that looked like it came from a Halloween store. She introduced him as Marcus Webb, compliance officer. They started circling my yard, writing things down. Then Marcus leaned toward my daughter Luna, who was just playing with chalk on the driveway. He said children can't play outside unsupervised. That's a $200 violation. Luna froze, clutching her chalk. Vivian piled on. Next time we'll have to call Child Protective Services. My 8-year-old ran inside, sobbing into her mother's arms. And I felt fury but also helplessness. How do you fight people willing to use your child as leverage? That night I saw the drawings she left on the kitchen table, stick figures of police cars taking kids away. My heart sank. I sat there, head in my hands, thinking, maybe I should just sign their papers. Maybe keeping my daughter safe is worth swallowing pride. Even my wife, exhausted and scared, whispered, maybe it's easier if we give in. That was the lowest point. For the first time I thought I might have been wrong to resist. That maybe I was the problem. But my grandfather didn't let me stay there. He cleared the dining table, laid out maps of the neighborhood, and started pointing at properties. See this 4 families gone in the last 2 years? All pushed out. All their homes bought by Sterling Properties, LLC, her company. Then came the real gut punch. Vivian's late husband, Tommy Sterling, had once served under my grandfather. After Tommy died, she spread rumors that the general had sacrificed soldiers for medals. The grudge had burned for decades, and now she was turning it into a vendetta. Detective Alex, a friend of Grandpa's, confirmed it. Vivian wasn't just bullying us. She was running a scheme, scaring families, forcing sales, scooping up cheap property through her shell company. And thanks to my grandfather's digging, we had proof. Old letters from Tommy, banking records, phony HOA stamps. Enough to show the whole thing was rotten. I looked at my daughter asleep on the couch, still clutching her stuffed rabbit. And I realized this wasn't about me anymore. This was about every family she'd hurt and the one I refused to let her destroy. I wasn't going to give up, not now. Act 3. The Showdown. The showdown came at a city council meeting on mandatory HOAs. Vivian strutted in with her lawyer and a couple of local politicians she'd clearly paid off. Clipboard in hand, smile sharp as a blade. The chamber was packed, over 200 residents plus reporters. I could feel eyes on me as I stood with my wife, my daughter, and my grandfather. When Vivian spoke, it was pure theater. She painted herself as a protector of the neighborhood, accused me of being reckless, claimed our family endangered community stability. Applause from her little group echoed through the hall. Then my grandfather rose. 75 years old, still straight as an oak tree, wearing his old uniform. He held a folded flag, Tommy Sterling's flag, and walked to the podium. The room fell silent. His voice carried like thunder. Tommy was one of mine. He wrote me letters. He trusted me. And in those letters he begged me to protect his men from lies like these. He unfolded one letter, Tommy's handwriting clear under the lights. In it, Tommy described Vivian forging signatures, siphoning money, manipulating insurance. Proof of fraud from her own husband's words. The gasp in the room was deafening. Then Detective Alex presented banking records and FBI notes confirming the scheme. Properties funneled into Sterling Properties LLC, families forced out money laundered through false HOA fines. Vivian snapped. I deserve that money. I'm a widow. I had to survive. And just like that, she confessed on camera in front of the entire town. Civilians shouted. Veterans stood and saluted my grandfather. Families she'd hurt stepped forward with their own stories. The tide turned instantly. Then came the sound of footsteps. FBI agents walked in, badges out. The lead agent said, Vivian Sterling, Marcus Webb, you're under arrest for fraud, extortion, conspiracy, and child endangerment. Handcuffs clicked shut. Vivian screamed, twisted, cursed, but the crowd drowned her out with jeers. Her allies slipped out, the back faces pale. And me, I just stood there holding my daughter's hand, watching the woman who made her cry get marched out of the chamber, powerless at last. No victory dance, no cheers, just the silence of justice finally catching up. Closing line. Bullies may hide behind rules and titles, but the truth will always break through.